Yeah, man, I remember like yesterday, you know what I mean? Walking around the room, Sally talking to you, but you could barely hear him. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about them last days, man, in that prison. You know what I'm saying? And when I was in the pen, in Southern Desert at the time, waiting for my release, all I could think about is getting out my first day and knocking a bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I was in prison, I didn't play with God. I didn't tell God, Lord, if you get me out this situation, they talking about me doing this much time. They talking about taking my life away from me. They talking about this and that, and if you could be merciful to me, you know what I'm saying, I'll live for you. I'll be saved. I'll be sanctified. I'll do your will. I didn't play with God, at all. You know what I mean? I kept that thing all the way 100 with my mama preaching and teaching to me over the phone and speaking in tongues and things over the phone and praying for me, you know what I mean? And even having the saints of God sometime on three-way trying to witness to me, trying to get me to, get reclaimed, man. I didn't play because I knew once I got back in society, man, I was going to be back at a bitch, man, to get my currency out of pussy, man. You know what I mean? Because I'm a motherfucking pimp. I wasn't sitting up there thinking about getting no job or even asking a nigga for no motherfucking jug. You know what I mean? No. There's plenty of bitches out here, and I'm a handsome young man that's in shape, and I know I got the greatest mouthpiece in the motherfucking world, and most of all, if I got some pimping with me, everything gonna be all right. So, that was my mentality. So as soon as I got out of the correctional facility, man, got out that motherfucking Southern Desert, as soon as I touched down, Freeze at the time, I hit P up, and this was my first time going to Minnesota to campaign. You know what I mean? And bro was like, man, you gonna love it. Minnesota, man, is the shit. Bro, you gonna love Minnesota, man. It's just that Minnesota, man. The white women, they love us. Man, it's just picture, man, like the pimps, coming to a city, you know what I'm saying, in that downtown Minnesota, man, and just picture like paid in full, man, when Rico and all of them was outside, really Alpo and all of them, and everybody was jocking. Yeah, man, that's just how it be, man, about this motherfucking pimping. When you hit Minnesota, man, it's snow, everywhere, man. You know what I mean? You gonna be cool, bro. Don't even worry about, what you don't have, man, or any of that shit. I wasn't worried at all, because like I said at that time, man, you know what I mean, in the best shape of my life. And at that time, man, you know what I mean, the only thing that I was, thinking about was knocking a bitch. So, bro, Free set up there, helped me get down to Minnesota. We came down to Minnesota, and that's all I did, man. Each and every day, man, I'm having damn near 4-5, interviews a day. You know what I mean? Like we always say, man, a pimp's place is in a bitch face, man. So, I'm getting it. I'm getting at everything that was attractive that I was attentive to. You know what I mean? Everything, man, that was attractive, that looked like it had some good marketability, that if I was to put down and bring back a lot of currency, that's the bitch that was for me. I was at the bitch, man. You know what I mean? I'm in the Mall of America all day, every day. You know what I mean? Just walking up and down. Matter of fact, we was staying at the Hyatt, you know what I mean, in downtown Minnesota. Anybody ever stayed at the Hyatt in downtown Minnesota, man, it's just something about it, man. They got the gym and they got the basketball court. Everything was right, man. So I'm still reading, I'm still working out, you know what I mean? And that's all I can remember, man, is listening to Sugar Free. Sugar Free used to have a song, I think it was called on, which one is that? Sunday School. Yeah, on Sugar Free Sunday School, it's a song called The Art of Knocking a Bitch. And man, that's all I kept, you know what I'm saying, on my mind, man, with Sugar Free, The Art of Knocking a Bitch. And as I had The Art of Knocking a Bitch, you know what I mean, going through my head each and every day, like I said, the songs that you listen to, the people that you hang around, your environment, man, play a major part, you know what I mean, in your development. Your environment play a big part of your development. The people that you allow to have a conversation with you, to be around you, it all play a part. Evil communication corrupts good men. You know what I mean? Lame conversations. Conversations contrary to this pimping. You know what I mean? Conversations, man, that don't promote or exalt the pimping. You got to abstain and refrain from being a part of that, because it's not building you up, especially if you're a young P. You need to be around other young Ps or older veteran Ps that's on fire with this game. Stop affiliating and associating with people who don't have no type of inspiration, no type of uncommon information to give you, man. And by me being around Freeze, you know what I mean? Freeze was on fire with the pimping, you know what I'm saying? So, man, we in Minnesota and, man, each and every day, man. But I remember like yesterday, going inside of Chipotle. Yeah. You never know when you're gonna knock your next bitch, man. You know, you never know when you're gonna. I first seen her in the Chipotle store. I didn't say nothing at that time, but when I looked at her, I looked dead into her eyes, man. You know, me just looking dead into her eyes, I knew that this was gonna be my hoe. She could have had on the choir robe, man. She could have been standing next to T.D. Jakes, you know, Minister Louis Farrakhan. It didn't matter, you know what I mean? As soon as I looked in her eyes, man, I said, this gonna be my bitch. You know what I mean? Real talk, man. So, make a long story short, man, we locked eyes. But I didn't say anything at that time, so I ended up catching her at a job, and I ain't gonna sit up here front and put on the Oscar Award performance. It was a little store. It was like a fake ass Starbucks, you know, that wasn't too far. I think from the I think it's J.C. Penney's or Macy's, probably the Macy's store inside the Mall of America, and you know I was coming in there, you know, cause she worked at a little fake ass Starbucks. And I came in there, and that's exactly what I said. I said, "Do I got to purchase something to be able to sit down, you know, just so I can have what I want?" She said, "It all depends on what you want." You know what I mean? I said, "Well, evidently, you know what I mean, I'm looking at, you know, what I want. That's why I came up in here. That was my whole purpose. That's why God in the game allowed me to get up this morning with the activity of my limbs so I can get in your face and tell you what's important." She said, "What's important?" I said, "Me and you in this game." And she said, "The game?" I said, "Yeah, you know, but I ain't gonna sit up there and hinder you from getting your little, you know, change at this job and shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, you need to talk. We need to talk seriously. You know, we need to go on a whole mental safari, man, tonight. I gotta have you. I got to. You know what I mean? It's just, it's written already, man. It's ordained for me to have you. It's predestined for me to have you." And she saw the enthusiasm, man, how serious I was and how sincere, you know, that I was, man. And we exchanged information, and we had a conversation later on that night. And I began to tell her, man, that, you know, I'm fresh out of prison. I ain't got shit. You know, I kept it all the way 100. I ain't got no car. I ain't got no house. I ain't got no suit. I ain't got none of that. You know what I mean? But, you know, I got locked up. You know, I did some time. I did over 3 years. And, you know, I'm back. And by the mercies of God, you know what I'm saying, I got another day, you know what I mean, to live. And life is too short not to pimp. So, you know, what's going on? She said, "Life too short not to pimp." I said, "Yeah, that's right, baby. And life too short not to hoe either." So we began to talk, and she just liked my charm, man. As I began to keep charming and disarming her, man, I knew she was going to be mine. And she said, "So what you doing over there?" We talked for like 40 minutes. And she said, "What you doing over there?" I said, "I'm just at the room." You know, Freeze had already basically met a little bitch. Freeze was already on the interview, you know, with a broad. So I was at the room pretty much, you know, by myself. And I said, "I'm just at the room." And she said, "Where you staying at?" I said, "I'm staying at the Hyatt." She said, "I'm going to come over there." And so she brought a little fine ass down there, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, she came down there, man, you know, thick as she want to be. As I like to say, ass saying hello before her mouth did, you know, hips gang banging like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I gotta have this bitch. I'm gonna pimp the shit out of this bitch. But at the same time, you know, I gotta keep my stories all the way 100 with you. You know, I'm fresh out that joint, man. You know what I mean? And my dick had not touched no pussy since Jesus was crucified. But at the same particular time, by me being who I am, that's when you know this shit really in you. Because I really wanted to fuck the shit out of this bitch, man. You know what I mean? Thighs was right. You know, titties was like, hey, sin. You know what I'm saying? But at the same particular time, man, the way you start, the way you end. And my mind was so bent. It was so on pimping that I couldn't go there. You know, as much as I wanted to go there, you know, I really wanted to tear it up. I was already fantasizing about having her legs in the air, man, and just ripping her apart, you know what I mean? Because at that particular time, man, I'm in the best shape of my life. You know, you niggas know what I'm talking about. You know, when you're in shape, you know what I mean? And you tear some pussy up, you come like a motherfucker, but your dick's still on hard because you're in shape. You know what I mean? Bitch like, damn, you still on hard? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I allowed the pimping man to preside, not in subside to the pussy that night at all. You know what I'm saying? As much, and I had justification. Anybody would have said, "Oh man, people, you just got out," but man, that's all my mind was on. Was just pimping, and during that time that I was locked up, I had a chance, even though I never had an older mentor or nobody to sit down with me the way that I sit down with y'all. I had a lot of time to think about the error of my ways and to correct them. So make a long story short, man. I ended up popping up at her. I ended up popping up at her job, and I was like, "Yeah, man. So what you gonna do?" Because we had a beautiful time that night when she came over. She was trying to fuck. But no, that ain't how it's gonna go, baby. And but I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. I rubbed on that ass. I rubbed on them legs, and she knew I was attracted to her. I had to let the bitch know that I am attentive to you, but due to the fact that I am governed by something that's bigger than life itself, I can't go there. So that already, I gave her a mental climax like no other. Because if you're a fine, attractive woman, and a nigga tell you no, this is a word that you don't even know to understand. I mean, you've heard no, but you never heard it, said to you. And to be able to say no to an attractive woman, that fucks her up. I know this nigga ain't gay, and for him to tell me no, what the fuck is wrong with him? So, of course, I come to work and I can already tell I was gonna have her, man. She's had them googly eyes and shit like that, and I can just pretty much tell how this shit, was gonna go. And plus at the time she was 20 years old. At that time, I was like 27. So I already know I was gonna have her. I already knew I had this in the bag because she was into me. She didn't know nothing about the lifestyle, but she was into me. And it didn't matter, what lifestyle that I was living in. She was just gonna be in it simply because she was into me. And she wanted to be, with me. And she wanted me to be inside of her. So if anything, any prerequisites that I had, for her to fulfill, she was going to fulfill the motherfuckers. Because, I'm the definition of valuable and profitable. And she know that she was going to have to do something, in order to be with me. So she had that understanding. And finally, man, she hit me with the question, like 2 days later, hadn't been to Minnesota a full week. And she just hits me out of nowhere. And she says, "So when do we start? What's going on?" This one I really knew, that she would, because some bitches they say that, but they'd be playing. But I can tell by the sincerity in her voice that she was serious. She said, "Do you want me to keep working my job? Do you want me to quit now?" And at that time I didn't have no money, man, so I let her go ahead and finish that week out, and broke her, charged her for a little paycheck, took the little paycheck, and came over back to the West Coast, with some new work and things like that. Just this game, man. I'll tell you another Minnesota, man. Now that I played it by the rules. And because I played it by the rules, even though I could have went there with her physically, but I had to establish something with her mentally, that I am the truth. And because I am the truth cannot come subject. It cannot be minimized by the pleasure of pussy at all. Because that's what a pimp is. A pimp is the truth. The pimping is the absolute 100% irrefutable, incontestable, truth. That's what it is, unadulterated. So, we come to the West Coast, I do my thing, but speeding right along because I want to show you stories, man, to basically show you why it's so important to follow the rules of the game, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I told you about the catch hand, and I ended up knocking that woman, but I want to tell you about another situation with another woman, that I was endeavoring to have while I was down there as well. I don't even remember her name, but me and Freeze, we was out that night. I think it was like a Friday or Saturday. Man, downtown Minnesota, man, it be live. Man, it be live, man. It be live like a motherfucker. And, me and P, we down there, me and Freeze campaigning. And I'll never forget, man, we was both white suited and booted. You know what I'm saying? We looked like we just came out of heaven. And yeah, man, we come down there. Black bitches was gang banging on us like a motherfucker. Ooh, where y'all going? Where y'all going? You know, touching on us and things like that. You know what I mean? And you know, we love, you know, women of all color. But like I said, you know, when you go to ATL, what you thinking about? You thinking about a black woman. You go to the south side of Chicago, what you thinking about? You thinking about a black woman. You come down to Minnesota, what you endeavoring to have? You're endeavoring to have some snow. You go to Seattle, what you endeavoring to have? Some snow. Portland, what you coming some snow. So, you know, you go to different locations, man, you know, to sit up there and have certain representation of certain nations, whatever you feeling at that particular time. And, you know, we have really came down there, man, on a mission to have some snow. You know what I'm saying? We was dressed for the snow, 1 million cologne for the snow, waving our hair for each day for the snow, nails manicured for the snow. You know, it was for the snow, baby. You know what I mean? So, of course, we come down there. We ended up meeting some little broads. You know what I mean? Little cute little white broads. And I ended up talking to this cute little blonde, man. She was pretty. Perky little titties. You know what I mean? And she had that nice little Starbucks personality. You know what I mean? Can I take your order? She just had that beautiful voice, everything, right? And we ended up going back, to the hotel, and to chop it up, have an interview, bring it back. So we come back, and instantly, man, she started really like making a lot of advances at a pimp, man. She grabbing on my arm and legs and things like that. You know what I mean? And of course, I told her that she's attractive and things like that, but it ain't gonna be none of that, but she put her hands, she sat up there and grabbed my dick. And I said, oh. She said, what? You got a girlfriend? I said, look, baby, no. But, that's not the type of man, that I am. I don't want you to think that I'm talking to you, and I'm endeavoring to have, some pussy, tonight. That's not. I actually really just came back because I thought that you were a beautiful woman, and I was trying to see if your intellectual capabilities and personality was equivalent to what I saw tonight, because you were the definition of amazing in your appearance. So it was only right that I bring you back to the room and we go on a little mental safari and have a conversation with one another and see where, things end up. But no, baby, I don't desire to fornicate. She said, fornicate? Oh my God, you come out of church? I said, well, look at me. I look like I come out of heaven, don't I? And she's like, I like you. No man has ever, just told me no, at all, So she said, no man has ever, told me no at all. And she said, wow, you fucked me up. This is her exact words. You fucked me up. I'm going to tell you where I'm going. She ended up saying, I'm glad that you said no. And I said, well, why you say that, you're glad that I said no, baby? She sat up there, hold on. She sat up there and she said, because, it's something that I got to tell you. I don't know if you're ready for it, but you're just so nice. You're so clean and you're well spoken. You smell good and you're not like the typical man. You're just different. And I got it. It wouldn't even be right for me not to tell you. And so I said, what? She said, I got herpes. And it fucked me up. She talking about she was fucked up. I was fucked up. And I said, well, how long have you been, you had it? She said that she got it, from her ex-fiance. He gave it to her. You know what I mean? And she been having it ever since. And she just been giving it out, to guys. I said, wow. I said, well, baby, that's the mentality of the enemy. That's the spirit of Satan to just, kill as many as you can, and put that's not right. And I began to minister to her and, quote the word of God to her and give her something that the average typical P wouldn't be able to even give because they're not built like that. But I began to minister to her and, she was blessed by that. We stayed in contact, a little bit, afterwards, but slowly but surely I had to slide that thing to the side, due to the fact that if it wasn't by me, if it wasn't for me playing by the rules and regulations of this game, man, you know what I mean? Now that's the first situation, with Shanae, the first little broad, if I had not played it according to the rules and regulations of the game, I wouldn't have had, the broad. And if I didn't play it by the rules and regulations of the game, I would have herpes right now. You see why it's so important to play this game by the motherfucking rules? Because when you don't play the game by the rules and regulations, you're going to end up in some bad situations. You're going to end up in that final destination called the graveyard, or you might end up in incarceration. But you're not going to get to the destination of success if you're not following the rules and regulations of this game, young man. It's so imperative for every representative, to pay attention and to listen to the informative representatives of the game. You got to learn the rules. You cannot conform to a behavior. And that's why the information that I'm giving within the videos are so important. That's why the book that's going to be coming out in the future, is going to be so important. The films and everything, because the information that is within it is going to help you do things that's vital to your title. Follow the rules and regulations, man, of this game. Because if you don't follow the rules and regulations of this game, the consequences will be the definition of severe. And I don't want that to happen to you, baby, because I love you. You got to play it by the rules and regulations of the game. If it had not been for this game, I would already be dead. Seriously. I'll leave that for another video, for me to testify and glorify this game. But if you're going to be in the game, you got to play it by the rules and regulations, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because when you disobey, when you deviate from the rules and regulations of the game, the consequences will be very costly. So keep that in mind, young P. For those of you that would like to have a conversation and allow me to give you some information later on, maybe you want to speak about certain things that I said within this video, man, you can go to Instagram, put in SIN 2_ FUL. You could also go to Facebook, put in PHILLIPGILMORE. Get into the inbox and let me know that you come from my YouTube family. You can also go to Snapchat. You already know it's only for the ladies. And, SINFULTHEP for Snapchat. But I want you to let that, if it had not been for me following the rules and regulations of the game, who's to say that I wouldn't have had that broad? Because after I sat up there and slept with her, she might have mentally seen me as every other guy that she'd been with, because she had already been talking to wannabe pimps. Because there's a lot of wannabe pimps in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? They was trying to get with her. She might have put me in the same, she was going to put me in the same category with every gangbanger. But by me carrying myself, differently, by me showing her that, hey, I'm special and peculiar and not regular and familiar like the rest. That one, he might have had a chain, a ring, a car. Got to remind you, I came out of prison with nothing. I knocked her with nothing at the time. Me and bro, when we got out, bro had a little change on me. He was able to help me. I was able to go to the little swap meet, and get a little few things. But I ain't had shit. Came down to Minnesota with 2 days worth of clothes, man, and knocked that bitch. Let that bitch know. And let me tell you this before I go out. Stop lying to them women. The lies is hindering you from being the truth. Them lies is hindering you from getting choked. Stop putting up pictures of cars that you don't have. Stop wearing fake jewelry. Stop sitting over there taking pictures in your partner's house, acting like it's your house. If she don't choose you off the truth, then fuck her. It's billions of women in this world. You be the truth. You be the truth from Genesis to Revelations. You be the truth from the beginning to the 9th inning. Don't lie to a woman at all. Hope you guys live as long as you want, never want as long as you live. I love you, baby. Follow the rules and regulations of the game.